Okay, so I said I would show you my science notebook for Clayton and Virginia. Josh is doing a 9th grade science course through from Master Books called Applied Engineering, and his notebook is completely set up. It was just tear out pages and put it in a 3-ring binder, so I didn't have to do any prep for that other than put it in the 3-ring binder, and I did that the other night. Clayton and Virginia are using Apologia's Exploring Creation with chemistry and physics. Josh did this 2 years ago until a little bit of last year. It's got a lot of experiments, a lot of hands-on. Every day there's a different kind of experiment, which is exactly what Clayton and Virginia wanted. And I love Apologia. We've done, I don't remember what day it is, but the sea animal one. We've done the astronomy, and then so we're gonna do this one this year. We've tried other sciences and it just doesn't work for us. So Apologia has a notebooking that you can buy. They have the junior notebooking book and a regular notebooking. The junior notebooking is for like kindergarten through 2nd grade, maybe 3rd grade, depending on your kid. And the regular notebooking is up to 6th or 7th grade, whichever you do. It could be an 8th grade, but it's really 7th grade is the max, I would say. But in the notebooking, it has pages like a schedule. So it breaks each lesson down to 2 days for over 2 weeks. So you would do like 2 days 1 week and then 2 days another week, and it tells you everything you need to do to complete the lesson in that time, including the experiments. I'm going to kind of follow that schedule, but it also has notebooking pages. Clayton and Virginia will not do notebooking. They're very good at talking back and retain the information better that way rather than write it down. Virginia just really hasn't got a lot of spelling mastered, and Clayton has some writing issues that he's been occupational therapy and stuff for, and it stresses him out to write. So it's easier for us to discuss what we've read, and they retain it a lot better that way. So instead of, like I said, Josh did this curriculum 2 years ago, and he didn't use all the features in his notebook. He likes notebooking and writing down facts. And he likes the crossword puzzles that come in the big kid notebook. And he did copy work. And then a couple of the, like, writing down the science experiment stuff. But he really didn't do a whole lot of that either. So luckily for me, I was able to save his notebook. And then I went to a used curriculum bookstore and found a used copy of the junior notebook, which has coloring pages and some vocabulary activities. I'll show you, all in it. And that was only used for one lesson, and I only paid like a couple dollars for it. So I snatched that up and took it apart. The notebooks have a coil binding, as you can see. Pull it up. The pages are have the side where the coil was bind. I just cut a couple slots on the coil and pulled it out, and then took the notebooks apart. So let me show you what I have for each of their notebooks. So first I'm going to show you Virginia's. They are page by page, they are the same. The pages just aren't exactly the same because Virginia has different, her writing spots have a primary lines, with a little dot in the middle, because she is just going into 2nd grade, and she just still working on making sure her letters are formed properly. She's generally really good about it, but I figured it was best for her. Clayton is, like I said, he has been in OT for over a year now. He's very proud of himself. He will be graduating occupational therapy very soon. And his handwriting has just tremendously gone leaps and bounds. And he is now just uses regular lines. So his has regular lines. But page by page, they are exactly the same. Somebody had asked me if I printed them all. If a page had writing on it, I manipulated whatever I needed to do, erasing or cutting and flipping pages, because I think one of the notebooking pages had writing, so I cut the page in half and flipped it, matched the top I wanted with the bottom that was clean, and scanned it and printed it out. And all the coloring pages I needed for Clayton, and I had them for Virginia, so I had to make copies for him. So there was some copying and scanning and printing, but I use HP Instant Ink, so I don't have to. I pay a flat rate no matter what I print. I print pictures for the house, print papers all the time. Whatever we print, we just pay one price, and I don't even worry about it. It's just a cost, something we pay because I know we're going to use it. So anyways, back to the notebook. So in the back of the notebook, you get from Apologia, it has mini books. So this is like the mini book, and it just, you would write some information about like this one's creation. And then there's one for physics and chemistry. So they can write some special facts, and that will go in a little pocket that I will put inside their notebooks. These will be 3-hole punched and put into a 3-ring binder. That is how I keep all their work. I try to keep their subjects together. Not exactly sure how I'm going to organize their subjects this year, because they each have, the boys have 1-inch binders, and they're pretty full. And Virginia's 1-inch binder will be pretty full after this science, and that doesn't even include adding their history in when we switch to our new history for Clayton and Virginia in January. More on that in another video. So we have that. So we have their little mini books that they'll cut out and put together the first day. Probably while I'm reading to them, they can be cutting. So then each chapter has, or each lesson as they're called, has coloring pages. This is actually the coloring page for the first lesson. In the book, the junior notebook that I got used was colored, but the sample page from Apologia's site had the coloring page on it, so I was able to pull that off because you can download it as a PDF. So I pulled that off and just printed it out. On the back side was it comes with 2 coloring sheets per lesson. I put one here, and then I did the copy work. So Virginia, it has a Bible verse for them to copy, and Virginia has that primary lined paper. And so they'll do the copy work. And then it has a flat book. So it has instructions on what they'll do. They write information about what we've learned. It's small spaces, so I will probably help with writing some, but I'm going to encourage them to write or draw pictures of what we just read over. And on the back of it, it does have little lines for them to write on. And that will be glued onto the next sheet, which has, if you can see it, says glue it on there. And these are all little books. Like this is in the middle of the regular notebook, but This, you can see the page number, it says, and it's A7. This is in the back. All the little mini books are in the back of the regular notebooks, but I wanted them all to be together so they see them and know what to expect each day. As they flip the page, they see them. So I put them in order of where I wanted them. So, and then on the back it has some of the little experiments that we'll go through. And then I have the second coloring page for lesson 1. And then it has a page for the experiments, what I did, what I learned, and they just write out that. Experiments are fun little things. When Josh was going through this, we often stopped and everybody participated. The experiment they love the most is the smoke bomb. And we will be making 2 smoke bombs this year because each kid has asked to have their own. And Josh may want to make another smoke bomb, so we may end up having 3 smoke bombs. Last year it smoked very, very smoky. Probably 15 minutes in my front yard. And for those who don't know, I live on a military base, so it was quite a daring feat, but there was nothing, no safety thing. Before it even reached the roof of the house, the smoke had disappeared, but it was fun. The kids thought they were going to get in trouble. So that is for each lesson. Some lessons have, like lesson 2 has these little pockets that they'll glue onto a page. And then they cut in a magazine out and find pictures from a magazine, or they could pull them up on the internet and print them out and stick it in their pocket so they can visually relate everyday objects to what matter, types of matter, to reinforce that. And then throughout, what I liked that the junior notebooking had that the big one didn't have is different vocabulary activities. In lesson 2, it is you cut out and match the vocabulary to the definitions, which is on another sheet. Some of them it is, let me see if I can flip through and find another vocabulary. Some of them, they have a word bank in the bottom and match it to the definition. Some it's drawing a line to match the word in the definition. In the big notebook, I think I have some of the extra discarded pages. See, I have my discarded pages I'm going to throw in the recycling bin. In the big notebook, the regular one, it's all crossword puzzles for vocabulary. But for the Clayton and Virginia, Clayton hates crossword puzzles. Virginia doesn't care, but they're big crossword puzzles. It would be way too much. The junior notebooking does have small crossword puzzles. I think maybe 1 or 2 for vocabulary. I just didn't include the vocabulary work in those lessons. Maybe I'll make index cards or something to go over it. Really, they're in elementary school. Well, Clayton's 6th grade, but I'm not really going to hammer down on mastering vocabulary. They've got plenty of time to do it, and while Virginia, I probably will go into a science-y type field. I don't know that Clayton will. So we'll see how their future goes. They're kids. They're little. They don't know what they want to be when they grow up yet. So right now we're just learning topics for fun, and it just expands vocabulary, just going over it. Like I said, Clayton's notebook is page for page the same. Obviously, I can't go through every page for copyright reasons with Apologia, but I love the setup I did. I do love Apologia's notebooks. They just weren't right for these 2 kids. And they're not expensive. I think they're $27 for a notebook. I did not pay for the textbook or the first notebook, I won a gift certificate, or my mother rather, won a gift certificate at a homeschool convention a few years ago, and she gave me her certificate, and we ordered this science for Josh, and I just love this science. I will continue to use Apologia now. I won't go switch back. So definitely recommend it for my new homeschooling friends. It is something you can use for all of your younger kids, K through 6th grade. I don't know. They do have a middle school, 7th and 8th grade books, and then high school books. I am not sure if I will move on to a middle school book for Clayton next year, the 7th grade one, or if he will stay with the elementary one. We'll have to see how he goes with this. And that'll all be dependent. Joshua doesn't like Apologia as much. It's a little more intense for him. So he is choosing different curriculums, and I'm not sure where he goes. But if you do get an Apologia kit, I suggest buying the science experiment boxes. I get mine from Rainbow Resource. I love shopping homeschool supplies on Rainbow Resource. They have free shipping at $50, and a lot of their prices are cheaper than most other places. Yeah, that's all I have for science. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll talk more about some other subjects once I have them complete. Have a good night.